Be happy to answer about 3 or 4 questions as we kind of work our way toward the rest of this. Yes, sir.
Tony, how would you cascading waterfall of values?
I'm sorry?
Like the cascading waterfall of values.
Yeah.
I was just thinking in the context of alternative protein. Because guys are making clean meat for a values-based judgment to save the world, save the environment. So then we have to put our values against their values.
Great question. Great question. So in those cases, I think it's important to try and avoid disparaging any segment of the industry, because when we get in a circular room and start firing guns at each other, we all get hurt. But I think what you can say is, you know what, and we've done this in some of the settings, you can be very confident that no matter what lamb you choose to buy at the store, it's going to be safe, it's going to be nutritious, and it's going to be good for you and your family. Now, if certain production practices are more aligned with your values than others, that's great, because the market will provide for those. But regardless of what you choose, you can be perfectly comfortable that all the lamb you're going to buy is going to be safe, nutritious, and good for you and your family. What other questions can I answer for you? Because what you don't want to do is start disparaging others, even if they start disparaging you. So you want to take the high ground on that and give people permission to be okay eating lamb from whatever production system they choose. Yes.
You said that 53% of people trust farmers.
Yes.
I thought that was lower than I would have liked.
8, 9, or 10. Well, that's a top box level of trust, so that's very high.
My question is, what was it like 5, 10, 20 years ago, and then extrapolate that to what it's going to be like in 5, 10, 20 years in the future?
Yeah. So I think it depends. I don't know what it was 5, 10, or 20 years ago. I think where it's going to be in the future depends on what action you choose to take now. And I think the other real challenge, one of the things that I admire most about farmers is farmers are so focused on fixing problems and fixing them right now, right? Building trust is a process, not an event. And so if you decide to invest in it and 18 months from now, it's like, well, God, people still don't trust all of us. What's the problem? Let's do another program instead. You've got to have a long-term vision of success and short-term activities to get there. But if you decide this is going to be something to invest in, you have to understand this is going to be a decade approach, if not longer. This isn't something that you can get in and out of. You can invest varying levels in programming to achieve it, but you've got to understand that building trust is something that has to be done on an ongoing basis. It's not a PR program. It's a philosophy. Yeah.
Charlie, I thought that was great. I've never heard all that before, and it confirmed a lot of things I think and explained a lot of things that I think. The one bit I wasn't sure about was sometimes the public are not going to like something we do.
Absolutely.
And we're never going to change their minds.
Right.
They just believe it, and no matter how many times we explain it, they don't like it. That forces us to make a choice, doesn't it? Whether we carry on doing that thing, sell it to somebody else, or whether we stop doing that thing. That's the really awkward bit in that.
Right, right. Yeah, and at some point you have to get to that, and that's where the industry has been on, the maceration of male chicks in the laying industry. So right now all male chicks are sent through a grinder at 1 day of age. And so they're looking at anytime you euthanize an animal purely for economic reasons, it creates real ethical questions. And so they're looking at a lot of issues to how can they deal with that. So you're absolutely right. The public expects greater transparency, and I'll spend more time on this tomorrow. And it really is an expectation today. There's no way getting around that. And the assumption that, well, I've got a small operation in WA or I'm way down in South Australia, nobody's going to know, ridiculous. When anybody who has a smartphone is a cinematographer, you have to assume everybody knows everything that's happening all the time. And to assume anything else is folly. And so we have to be willing to say, here's the issue. But the one thing I will tell you is if you talk about, here's what we're doing, we realize it's an issue, it's a problem, and here's what we're doing to address it. I don't have an answer today, but here's what we're doing to find a long-term solution. You can buy time and you can buy goodwill by being open, by being transparent about it, and by accepting responsibility for it. Yes, one more.
Charlie, you touched on it earlier, that question of we're working towards making sure that we never, this doesn't happen again. How would you approach a question, because I find it really difficult when people say, well, can you guarantee this will never happen again, and trying to deal with that sort of thing?
Yeah, and the answer to that question again is to be honest, to say, no, we can't guarantee that it won't happen again. I can never guarantee that somebody won't run a stop sign. I can never guarantee that somebody won't drunk drive. But what we can do is to work on making sure that it happens less frequently and to put programs in place to stop it from happening. So can I guarantee you that everybody in the industry, everybody in Australia, everybody in the US will do everything they're supposed to do every day, 100% of the time? I cannot guarantee you that. But I can guarantee you that we're going to continue to put programs in place that will encourage and reinforce the need to take responsible action on this issue because it's important to you. More importantly, it's important to us. So you've got to take responsibility for it, but you can't promise something you can't deliver. because that will undermine your credibility. We are at time today. I'm going to be around for the next couple of days. Would be happy to entertain additional questions. As was mentioned, Engage, this training program is now available in online modules. And so people can sign up and take it as an online training course. I believe there are 5, is that right, Deanna? 5 modules that you can, I should know this, but I don't. But you can take those online, and it's gotten phenomenally positive reviews. We just had one company that bought 1,000 licenses for their employees to go through the program online. So it's a great tool, and I will always respond to emails if you have questions. Whether you like what I said or you hated what I said, I will always respond to emails. So I'm happy to continue to engage in that conversation. Again, it's a real privilege to be here, and congratulations on investing in leadership. Because one of the things that I was so excited about just in hearing the young guns is not just the talent, but the enthusiasm and passion that they bring to the conversation, which is so incredibly important. So thank you again for the opportunity.